Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Ragucci, and here with a few friends in the Delaware County area. We get in a basement and we talk about a certain topic. Today's topic is going to be the DCU Rebirth. I almost switched it around because it sounded better. Here to discuss, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Gooch, how are you?
Good, man. Episode 81 of the podcast. We never say our episode numbers, but
that's true. I guess you're right. I forget about that. We'll do something special maybe for 100. Who knows?
I was thinking that exact same thing, but a little bit of a housekeeping, I guess, for this month. We have two podcast episodes going out this month. Obviously, we're doing this right now, and then we are doing our predictions podcast for the Game Awards, I guess, next week.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that.
I think so.
We're doing that next week, and you can vote live. I guess live. Yeah.
Whenever you want.
You can submit your votes for the Game Awards. If you go to Discord or Facebook and Twitter, it's all over our social media feeds.
Is it on our bios and stuff, or where did you put it?
I didn't
or
put
did
it
you
in the
post
bio.
pins and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, I pinned it on Twitter. But yeah, if you come to our Discord page and you go into feedback or announcements, you should see the participation Google form. It's pretty much not every award, but a majority of the awards, and then there's some like fill in the blank stuff about like announcements. Why do you think X game should win X award? Any comments on the stuff we omitted, just in case maybe we're totally
missing something,
ignorant to something
amazing.
Yeah, but that'll be out the week of the Game Awards, and then of course we'll do reaction to the Game Awards, and then in January we'll be doing our DNN games. Is games? You like games or game?
What's the full
games of the year or game of the year? Because I feel like we'll have multiple. You know,
we're not going
to crown one between the two of us.
That's true, but I think we'll each crown our own, like our personal game of the year. I think game of the year over games, personally. But I don't know. I'll leave that up to your discretion. I'm not going to die.
It'll be workshop.
Yeah.
Game or apostrophe S in quotes games of the year. And you know what's funny though? There's so much like Pentiment. Is like not in game of the year. Callisto Protocol, Midnight Suns. There's a lot this year coming.
Callisto Protocol, I forgot too.
That's
in like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. There's a lot coming out in that end of November, December time frame range that isn't in the Game Awards, and it sucks because when we do the Game of the Year podcast, we don't talk about
them as much
stuff
because it's just tough. They're closer to the end, and we usually do line it up with the Game Awards, which of course does that. So
yeah, so I figured like splitting it into 3 would cover our bases a little better. 1 with the conversation, but 2 with the games that aren't at the Game Awards. And it would be, and it'd be nice to just sit down and talk about what we think and not have like the award show to build off.
Interject on, yeah.
But Trio. As tradition with our podcast, we usually talk about what's going on or maybe a little bit of news. Trio, what's up?
Gooch, not much. I've been playing a lot of Pentiment and playing a lot of God of War, of course.
Of course. Both of us have, of course.
Good stuff. I've been playing a ton of Hitman again recently, too.
I did see that.
Those games are so good, man. I know we've done a hot take on them and all that stuff, but it's really getting me excited for what they're going to do with James Bond and just what we're going to see.
I will play Hitman at some point.
Well, it is nice now just because they have the whole
one.
Exactly. It all plays on 60 frames per second. It's all updated. It all looks great. That's a great looking game. It's funny. I was playing Hitman Blood Money too, the like old one. That's one of my favorite games of all times. But just going from that to a current day Hitman, they really did distill down everything. I
saw you were playing like Splinter Cell Blacklist too.
I was. I've been having a bit of a stealth crave at the moment that I've been trying to satisfy. And I'm going to play Plague Tale at some point. I just need to play Innocence first. But yeah, dude, Hitman, there's such crazy interconnected levels. That truly is just one of the best sandboxes out there. And there's so much variety. There's a few missions that I didn't even realize they released post game that are like completely new that I've been playing, which is fun.
So they never brought back like the Sean Bean stuff. And
I think they did start recycling that. So those are like the
like rotate.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact name. Something Target. And you only have a certain elusive target. That's it.
Yeah, I remember.
And you only have a certain amount of time to complete them, and you have only one shot, so you get no saves or anything like that. You just have to do it in one go. But I've been playing a lot of the levels on like professional mode, which is you don't get any saves, so you really kind of got to plan out your stuff. And they do change up like the guard AI and the placements of like cameras and things of that sort. So yeah, Hitman is a lot of fun. Great stuff. Gooch, what have you been playing? What have you been watching, doing?
Before we get into that, we are dedicating, this is the last podcast we're going to dedicate to Gino, who passed, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
My dog, who passed literally a month ago to the day, which is very ironic, I guess, of recording this. But yeah, so I didn't really get into it when we first talked about it because it was like the week of and it was still kind of fresh. But yeah, Gino had a lot of things going on at the end, unfortunately, and so he had a GI bleed in his GI tract. He had a heart murmur. He had kidney issues, and he had a cancerous mass in his face, which is what made him really snotty.
Yeah.
And that was kind of. It's funny. I don't really know what happened to him. He did not get put down. He passed like the day of, a little bit before, ahead of time, so we kind of got more time with him in a weird way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like as he was like going, like instead of like, okay, like they come in and it's like,
How old was he again? 14?
14 and a half. So yeah, this is the first like monthly podcast back, and I wanted to do one more kind of in ode to him, but yeah, it's been tough without him. It's just so much. It's lonelier.
It's another person. It's a person that's been around your house the entire time.
Especially when I'm just here alone. It's weird.
No, absolutely.
It's weird, and we don't need to like open the back door anymore, or like worry about feeding him, or like it's nice from like a selfish perspective, but another perspective, it just sucks not having a dog. I really like
having him around was your routine,
part
of your routine too. It just made things feel normal.
Yeah,
it's the way it is.
Yeah, definitely a part of both me and my mom's, and yeah, it's like.
Dude, even every time I'd come out here, like I said earlier, I heard this go, and I was literally out of I don't know, reflex. I was about to be like, Gino,
right?
It's so funny.
Down.
But
yeah. Yeah, but it's been a tough month. Things are, starting to calm down, and I am better about it for
Love
sure.
to hear that.
But yeah, it's hard. It's a hard thing to go through.
It's a family member.
Anyone who's been through a dog loss, like it's like literally like the worst thing I've.
He's been around since you were what, 13, 14? If he's 14 years old, or did you guys have him since he was a baby, like a pup?
A few months. So I think we had him. Like I was in 7th grade.
That's not an insignificant amount of time.
But we've had Gigi since I was in 4th grade.
Right.
So I've had a dog almost
majority
of my life.
Of your cognizant life for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I'm glad to hear it's feeling a little bit better. Of course, it's always going to be a trouble.
Yeah, it's weird because you're in these moments of like I wasn't feeling good last week, and I was like, "Fuck, you know what I'd love to do? Like
just hang with Gino." Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no, that's true. That's tough, man. But I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, and I appreciate everyone reaching out to me either in the Discord or privately. I really appreciate it. That first week was pretty rough. It was rough to even like kind of talk about it and not be super down about it, like those first episodes. And yeah, Trio's been great as well because I when it was happening. I think I mentioned it when we recorded like Rings of Power and.
I think I thought it was only Rings of Power. Maybe we probably doubled up that day. I can't remember what it was though.
Yeah, then we did something else.
And it wasn't Black Adam, was it?
No, and we saw Black Adam that same week.
Right.
But I was like I don't want to cancel the podcast. I'm like, we got to do it. And I'm like fucking crying on the phone.
It keeps the time out. It keeps your mind off it as much as you can.
Yeah, and I was like, I felt weird. Like I can't tell. Like I don't know if Luke's gonna watch this, but like not telling Luke was like weird. I'm like, I don't want to be weird.
No, listen, you want to do what you got to do. That's best. And
in my house right now.
I felt very bad. It sucks.
Yeah, it was weird. I was just like, I just won't bring it up.
It was good to keep it. Well, I think it's also good because it kept your just talking about it at the moment probably wasn't going to help you.
It was nice to actually like disconnect and like do a podcast during that too.
Absolutely. But
anyway, what I've been playing, of course, we've been playing a ton. We talked about God of War. We talked about Pentiment. We're gonna talk about Gotham Knights, so we're not gonna talk about that right here. We have talked about Plague Tale Requiem. We got a review coming out, and we're gonna be talking about it with the Game of the Year conversation.
Oh yeah, I guess we haven't put that out yet, have we? The Plague Tale Requiem.
No, it's out.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. You just said it's coming,
but we're gonna talk about it again.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
So
I was like, wait,
no point of yeah. But I have one game I haven't talked about it at all. Overwatch 2.
Oh, that's right.
I finished the Battle Pass, and it's been a weird experience with that game because it definitely doesn't feel like Overwatch 2. It's like Overwatch 1.5. And I even thought about it, like, are we going to review it? And I'm like, well, the campaign isn't out. Half the game, like this big.
It has a campaign. I didn't realize
Yeah.
that. Did the first one have a campaign?
No.
I didn't think
so
so.
they
Okay.
decided to do a campaign, and somewhere along development, they decided that we're going to release this later. It's going to be the paid portion. The regular game is free now.
Interesting.
And it's been good. It's been fun to get back into Overwatch, but like I would struggle to sit here and talk positively about it on a review because it is so much of the same thing. And
It's barely a 2. Yeah,
it is barely a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks. But I mean, I heard how has been like connectivity issues and things like that better.
Besides that first day and
I heard the first day was like sucks, but yeah,
it's been fine.
All right, well that's good.
Yeah.
Any major changes that you can think of, like anything that you were like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. Is there like a new character that you like at all, or?
Kiriko is the new character, and Junker Queen. They're all right. I feel like all the characters got nerfed. Like the healers aren't as like there were some healers like Moira and Ana, like some like more offensive healers that like did some like good damage who are just been nerfed. I feel like everyone's kind of been like knocked down a peg. Everyone.
Interesting.
So you kind of feel like you're just doing less damage, and it's because you are, but
Sure.
everyone is also doing
less damage. Oh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
And when we've had the switch to 6v6 to 5v5, again. I'm like, I'm struggling to say anything positive about this game.
That sucks.
Some of the new like I like the new battle pass system, but like it's a battle pass. We've seen it before. Like, what more can we say?
So I got a question. Do you get enough? One thing I remember loving about Fortnite's battle pass was that it would give you enough of the whatever bucks, V-Bucks to get a new pass. So there's no. Do you get currency back from it? Like, could you buy another pass with the amount that you made?
That I don't know because we haven't had a second battle pass yet.
How much was the first battle pass?
$10.
Okay.
Actually, I got it for free because I bought like a pre-order like thing with skins because I'm a shill.
Sure. It's fair. We're all shill on certain things. I mean, it's just how it is. I bitched about Rockstar making an update for GTA 5 that like costs you $20, and I'm like, this bullshit. And I purchased it immediately and started playing.
Meanwhile, I'm just like,
I'm like, well, I want to play it at buttery smooth 60 frames. So what am I gonna do here?
So this is the equivalent of we talk about an award while we're doing like a conference about a game we don't like or we have nothing to say. This is a game that's one of those. Fallout 76 Into the Pit.
I heard it's
I have nothing to say.
I heard it's very just minimal.
I have nothing to say.
Just was not even like it was just so.
It's not even worth thinking about. Let alone
let's move on. I love it. That's
not even worth it.
Jeez, that sucks.
That should tell you
everything you need to know. No, I'll
take
it. I love it.
I've been playing the Sly Coopers. I beat 2. I beat 3. I'm still working on the plat on 3. You always hate playing those games that you had nostalgia for that like just don't hold up.
I mean, yeah, especially when you get to that old of a
Sly
game.
2 and 3, like the first one's great, but like you can tell the way and the direction games were going, where we were leaving the platformers behind and we were getting more action oriented. And it's not bad. It's just like
doesn't work as well.
Games back then had sometimes more meat than what they were worth.
Sure.
Like I feel like it's more sometimes the it's
Did
very
they
much the
was
opposite.
it still that time where they made it harder to make it last longer, or was it not even that hard?
They made it longer to make it longer.
Sure.
Like I'm like these levels are like I'm like, oh my god. And they're like filled with like dialogue that I don't really care about. They're like just telling you like what you need to do.
Makes sense.
Like you're playing as a kid.
Yeah,
which is understandable. But it's just kind of been like, oh my god, Jesus Christ. Like
let me just get it done.
But like the characters are great and it's funny.
Sure.
Watching a game. Have you played Sly 2 or 3?
I played the first one. I don't know about 2 or 3.
Bentley's in a wheelchair in 3.
Okay, I do remember.
It's crazy.
I vaguely remember
they
that,
decided to do a character progression like that in like 2003. Like
What,
we're
that he
gonna
was just
cripple a main character and put him in a wheelchair.
Was it like a very sad moment when he gets crippled?
Yeah, and then you're gonna play as him in the sequel in his wheelchair. I'm like imagine if that was done today, there would be headlines about that.
Maybe, yeah. I guess you're right. I don't know. That is funny though. For back in the time, especially for like a kids game, we're gonna make this turtle a fucking cripple. And then you're gonna play as the cripple.
Yeah, it's wild because
wild.
If it happened in a AAA game today, there'd be headlines about it because it's like,
there would be like this. Yeah, I get what you mean in that way. Like,
oh, look at
this.
people. It's like, we did that in 2003 when nobody was asking for it, and it works.
And look at us, guys.
But again, those characters in that game are really well written in their stories. Like they're what makes Sly Cooper Sly Cooper. It's about Sly
that makes
and the
sense.
gang.
Yeah.
Last game, then I got a movie. Trio, you need to play Marvel Snap.
I've been playing it actually. It's fun. It is. I'm like not like as engrossed
Dude,
as you guys.
I'm into it.
It's definitely
really
fun for a
enjoy
card
it.
game. I agree, and it's snap.
It's quick.
No pun intended. It's snappy. It does get you through each game.
Games are like not even 5 minutes long.
There's much more to it than you might realize at first, but it's easy to kind of get into. I liked it. No, it's cool. It's a lot of fun.
I'm really enjoying it, and I was a Hearthstone player back in the day, so I kind of like I've always been like attached to the card games, but it's kind of like if you like miss the boat, like it's just too late. Like there's so many cards and like with Hearthstone, it's like there's so many packs and expansions, and it's like where do I even
want
fucking
to begin?
start? I missed all this shit. I don't have any of this shit. You're telling me I gotta buy it all, but with Marvel Snap, it's like there's a battle pass, and the battle pass is, in my opinion, worth the time. But like you enter on 2 free battle passes, so you don't really need to even spend a dime when you start. So I think they're like the game is not microtransaction heavy, and I think that's what
it's set up to. No, that makes sense. It does, and it doesn't feel like it overwhelms you with all that. Like buy more tokens, buy more of this to get more of this, and you know.
And it's cool that it's mobile. Like I just find that like you can play it on Steam.
Yeah,
but it's like I feel like I'm like I want to play this game on my
phone. Yeah,
and I think that
it works very well for it. Yeah, and the UI is really interesting and very non-overwhelming because those games can very easily get to that point.
And last, but definitely not least, I did watch one movie that we did not talk about, and that was a while ago, but it's been a while since we did our monthly podcast topic, and that was Blonde Trio.
Yep.
Blonde. Did you get a chance to watch this guy?
The 3-hour time thing is really, the length is getting me. No, I haven't. I haven't. I've heard nothing but bad things, to be honest. We've been over this.
It's not a happy movie, that's for sure. It's kind of like It's like I'm trying to bring up my Letterboxd review because I think I did like a good job of kind of like laying the foundation out of that when I.
I've heard it's just like torture porn basically too, or trauma porn. Of her, it's just all the terrible things that happened to her throughout her whole career.
Yeah, this movie doesn't paint Marilyn Monroe in any sort of positive light at all. But it I shudder to say I like this movie because it's negative. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're supposed to like the movie. It's just really like sad.
Well, that's tough. I mean, to make a sad movie like that. Like it's like weird. You can, it's that perfect balance of like, wow, that was good, but man, I don't want to watch it again. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I don't know if it's like that with like Joker almost for me.
Yeah, I really was like enthralled watching it, and like the movie had my attention. I was really like who was Marilyn Monroe? Like, and I'm like really thinking about it. I'm like this was she like she's definitely like mentally ill.
She had a lot
she has a lot of issues, a lot of daddy issues. I'm like regardless of like I'm like would it be wrong to paint her in a positive light because she clearly had a lot of issues?
Well, and I don't even think it's not even wrong to paint her in a positive or negative light. It's just she was a person. She had flaws and she grew up in it. She was in a time which probably wasn't very easy to do that. Obviously,
I mean she's the first
like female movie star really to a degree.
I mean like she's same time as Elvis or before Elvis? Probably a little bit before, right?
I don't think so. I think Elvis was before her. I thought Elvis was like a thing.
No, Elvis was like the 50s.
When was she a thing?
In the 30s and 40s.
Oh, was she really? I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, then absolutely. No, that makes more sense.
Because like think about like your stars, like Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, like celebrities like everyone knows.
Well, I'm trying to even think of like movie stars back then, like Marlon Brando and things like that.
Right,
yeah.
of like utter infamy.
Yep.
Or for me, I don't know what's the album for me.
Yeah, no, I think that's right.
You know, in fame, she's just like pop culture sex icon.
Fummy.
Like, how do you like and like she's
especially for that time?
She's a legend. Like, how do you make a movie on her about and being like unbiased? Like,
well, but not even unbiased. Like, it seemed like that was that director's real intention to very heavily dramatize too and things
the
like
legend.
that. That's
yes,
how she
that's
is.
Exactly what he was trying to.
But
do.
like, I think there is a way to do that and make a coherent movie that's also not. I got a question. Mm-hmm. Do you think you would have watched this if Ana de Armas
was in it? No,
okay.
Not a chance. She's great.
No, I heard she's great. No, she's awesome.
What isn't an issue, and from everything I've seen, is not Ana de Armas'
absolutely.
acting.
No, I've heard that too.
She is excellent.
She's fine, yeah.
And but it's not enjoyable.
It's a downer.
Film.
I've heard it's a downer, and it's long.
I'd recommend
if it was like a 2-hour downer, I'd maybe be more interested. It's a 3-hour downer. So like, I don't know. That's really tough for me.
But anyway, there's been a shit ton of DC news. I feel like recently, of course, Kevin Conroy passed away.
I was going to say
recently.
that's what I want. So we were just kind of going to go through all like the new DC film stuff going on, but first we just want to talk about Yeah, Kevin Conroy passed recently as a
Yeah.
recording about what, like last
week.
Last week, I can't remember exactly which day.
What
he was
a-
only about 66, I believe, years
Yes.
young.
What a strange, like, I didn't grow up with Kevin Conroy, but I've now seen all of the DCAU stuff, and it's been like holy shit. Like it almost just doesn't feel real that like we'll never hear Kevin.
I was
Conroy
listening
do
to someone
Batman again.
I was listening to someone, I can't remember who it was, but they said something that I thought was. I feel like you hear a lot of people say like, well, Batman's the boring character and his villains are the cool ones, and he's not as interesting as his villains.
It's a big hot take, but all right.
I don't think that's a big. I feel like I hear that all the time, especially
Okay.
from like non super comic booky people. But whenever you hear those people talk about a great Batman,
It's Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy, and he really does bring some kind of gravitas to that character that just made him a even more mainstay of a cultural icon than he already was.
You know what I think it is too? His Bruce Wayne.
So different.
There's
No, it is.
something about his Bruce Wayne that feels so Batman.
And authentic and just
Like yeah,
great.
Right, like he's like the mask of Bruce Wayne is so there. But it's not anything over the top.
Batman feels like his natural voice, whereas Bruce Wayne feels like his facade.
Yeah,
Almost.
yeah.
It really is. And it's just so sad. Like I said, he was only 66 years old. I thought we would have at least got on the high side 20 years, on the low side 10 years of more of Kevin Conroy
Right.
voicing things. And
Right.
I'm like we were saying, I'm very curious to see what his last roles are going to be. I'm sure he recorded a bunch of
Right,
stuff
like
before
what
he passed away.
movies did he do?
I mean, you were talking about Injustice 3. I genuinely
Oh,
wouldn't be
man.
surprised
I
if
hope.
he
I
already.
fucking hope.
Well, because I think dialogue's one of the first things they record for things like that, and because I know they don't necessarily do dialogue and motion capture in the same run. Because I think they did motion capture for Batman, but Kevin Conroy didn't motion capture
No,
that.
Kevin
He
Conroy's
just-
not doing
he
motion
just,
capture.
Yeah, he just voiced him. So.
Right. I mean, and same thing with all those actors. Susan Eisenberg isn't doing Wonder Woman.
No, absolutely.
Motion capture.
And I mean, if he had cancer, or it seems like he had cancer or some type of
You know what's
disease
funny?
like
We
that.
haven't heard like I feel like we've heard official correspondence as like he's passed away and he had cancer, but like we haven't heard like the
Yeah, I think they did say it was like after a battle with cancer, so I thought they said, or it was like a long battle with a disease or something. So it seemed like I felt bad. He didn't look great in his last couple appearances. I felt like, and we were talking about this. So yeah, Batman. I mean, rest in peace. He was the best, and I'm hoping we at least get to see him in a few other things.
What's good is like he hasn't been the only animated DC Batman.
No, absolutely.
And I say that just because like it's not going to be hard to wean off because we've gotten plenty of
absolutely
Batman
not.
roles without him and it, honestly it's never felt weird, but when you do hear him it's like
It's comforting.
it's
it
like
really
yeah,
is.
I don't
It
need
really,
to worry about this role.
I'm not concerned at all. It's
yeah,
gonna be great.
yeah. Like because he, between the Arkham games, the original DCAU shit, BTAS, and
Yeah.
and Batman and Robin, and
Well, it's
Justice
funny.
League, and then now we get like the animated movies here and there, and it's been like Jason O'Mara, and Jason O'Mara is good.
Yeah,
and
he's fun,
Jensen
yeah.
Ackles has been Batman recently,
Absolutely.
and he's in this new Legion of Superheroes movie. Did you see that trailer that
think so.
just came out?
Yeah.
I think it's in Long Halloween's universe
Oh, that makes sense.
because it's him. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, and it's like the same style.
No, honestly, for a lot of those animated movies, I wouldn't be surprised if they knew he was going to pass and he's like, listen, I want to come in and
I'm sure somebody had to
I'm
know.
going to come in and record as much as I can. If we can finish out some movies, I'm going to come in and record all my lines and stuff like that. I'm curious to see what else we'll see him in. And I mean, listen, we always bring up the animated series, and rightfully so, but
Caped
I do
Crusader
think
is going to be interesting to see
I'm
what
curious to
happens,
see what happens.
with that.
they might have decided to recast that. Well, no, did they announce that he was going to be back for that?
I feel like
confident
they did.
But
Because that was the big draw. That
Yeah.
Bruce Timm was back, and
And it
Paul
was-
Dini,
yeah, it was the
and
original
Kevin Conroy
yeah,
was
I
going to
think
be
you're
Batman.
right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Everyone always brings up the animated series, which I think is obviously fair, and it's one of his most seminal works. But those Arkham games really are. You get to spend like a good, I don't know, between all three of the games,
30
60
plus hours,
Yeah, at
yeah.
least I'd say 60 hours with him.
I guess per game.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Per
Right.
game, you get to spend that time with him as Batman, just being Batman. And that is so fucking cool. Just hearing him talk to
Right. Oracle,
hearing him talk to Alfred. But you know what's funny I was noticing about those games? Except for Arkham Origins, you don't go to the Batcave once.
Really?
Yeah. You know, there's like a weird
Is there a cutscene in Origins, or is you're
in the you're going back and forth to it, which is funny. So,
okay.
And that's also it's funny in that because like some characters are replaced voice wise, and then
the Arkham games really are like set pieces. Like the game, like okay, like the first one you're in Arkham.
Yeah.
The second one you're in Arkham City,
which is just a part of Gotham.
The third in Night you're in Gotham, but like you never return to the Batcave. Well, like you know,
which is weird.
There is something going. Like he can't leave.
No, yeah, I'm surprised.
Right? I'm surprised on one night, and there's criminals everywhere.
And I guess they kind of use the movie theater as his home base in that a little bit more than or like the theater where you go through that whole thing with Robin. That one portion of the game.
Oh right, yeah. Where is that?
That's like just it's in Gotham.
Theater?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's an old movie studio or something.
Yeah,
I think.
right.
But
he does have a base.
I didn't realize Origins also was. I totally forgot. It was a lot of the Arkham City map. It's just before it was closed off into Arkham City. So like you have a lot of that, which I totally forgot about. But yeah, like I said, R.I.P. Kevin Conroy, the man.
Yeah, so we're here to discuss something big, a shakeup in the realm
rebirth,
of DC.
if you will.
A rebirth, hopefully.
Yeah.
If you did not know, James Gunn and Peter Safran, is that how you say his name?
Yes, Safran.
Are now heads of DC Film.
The DC Studios. So here, do you want me to walk you through the whole timeline here? So I got the entire... So this is the big news.
Real quick, before we do that, it's funny, we're like... this podcast is like almost like a... like how much we've been talking about DC stuff and like Snyder Cut and the goings on at WB the last like 2 years.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller going through whole like it's been so negative.
And
there
tumultuous.
Has not been one point in time where maybe besides the Snyder Cut where I felt like hopeful about what WB was doing behind the scenes. And this is the first time in a long time where they finally, after this Discovery merger,
feels like a good move.
They're finally trying to get this horse back in the fucking race.
They seem to be committed again. Yeah.
I can't. Of course, I'm happy, but it's just like it's still.
You gotta temper those expectations.
Right. What's to come is going to be interesting, and we're going to talk about that here today. And Trio is now going to get us through this timeline of events.
So this was like kind of all as of November 1st. So we had known for a long time that the new Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav was like in search of a new DC head, and that finally came to a head last month at the beginning when James Gunn and Peter Safran were officially set to lead the newly minted DC Studios as their roles of co-CEOs, and that has gone into effect November 1st. So basically, this means that they will be the creative heads, obviously, of DC, the newly minted
Kevin
DC Studios.
Feige,
to a degree.
Feige's.
Safran will be more of the numbers guy, whereas James Gunn will be more of the creative guy.
So let me interrupt you real quick. We know James Gunn, Guardians Volume 1.
So I do have kind of some stuff about all these guys here.
Because I was really going to ask, who's Peter Safran? For those who don't know, and I don't really know who he is either.
He's apparently a former Hollywood like super agent, big guy. He was the agent for a ton of like major A-listers. He managed one of the largest stars in Hollywood, many of the largest stars in Hollywood. He was a major producer on the Conjuring franchise for WB, which makes sense that they kind of have a working relationship already. And he had a long-standing partnership with James Gunn, going back all the way to like Suicide Squad, Peacemaker. He was co-producers on, and apparently he even has like a special thanks in James Gunn's Slither, which was from 2006, like one of his really old films. So apparently a big wig in Hollywood to a degree. Seems to know what he's doing. He's been on some of the better DCU movies, I would say. But so yeah, they took over on November 1st. This marks an end to a months-long search by the CEO, like I said, to replace the old DC Films boss, Walter Hamada, who departed at the end of October. Dan Lin who was a producer, like a major producer on the Lego franchise, was heavily rumored apparently to take this over. He was in like almost final negotiations, but then those dropped out. I think once they figured out the deal with Gunn and Safran. That was like, I gotta say, I was surprised they kept that secret. Like that was actually a surprise announcement with Safran and James Gunn. Like there had been something the week before that they were meeting to work on like a new movie.
Right.
But they kept that secret the entire time. So I think that does show you something of maybe the changing culture in WB, and that you know, I mean, we were saying this before. We'd hear movies are leaking, like they're gonna make a Nightwing movie. They're gonna make this. They're thinking
Gotham
about
City
this.
Sirens with Joss Whedon. Who fucking wanted that? Nobody.
When was that a thing?
You don't remember that?
When was that, like recently?
No, that was years ago. That was like before Justice League even came out.
Well, that makes sense actually to me back then.
I remember there was a red carpet clip. I guess he was at some Avengers thing and somebody was asking him about there was
possibility.
Right, like it was there. Like it was known knowledge and like but like to me it's always annoying to hear about these DC projects like kind of looming because like I just can't give it any sort of
it wasn't even like a
brain space because we've had so many projects fall under and the state of the DCEU is just trash.
Well,
so
and the sad part is a lot of those things were never officially announced. They were always leaks. And that's what we're saying is the problem of that rings good to me that they were able to keep that a secret. That didn't get leaked. And I'm hoping that from now on they can keep a lid on this stuff and only announce things once they're ready to. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, Gunn will focus on the creative side of things while Safran will focus on the business and production side. Both are expected to continue to direct and produce projects respectively. They will report to Zaslav directly and work closely. They will report directly to Zaslav and work closely with the new Warner Brothers film heads named Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdy. DeLuca and Abdy were apparently key in bringing back Henry Cavill's Superman and Black Adam as one of the producers on that. Literally went around Hamada to go produce or to go give the idea to them.
Good.
And they took him back.
Fucking Walter Hamada. That guy's a fucking joke.
I disagree. We'll talk about why once we get to it. Sources say the deal will run for 4 years and Gunn will be exclusive to DC. And if that keeps going,
and I think that was already in the tea leaves before. We kind of look at Rick Flag's shirt. Opportunities come from obstacles.
They seem to mesh very well.
Marvel fucked him, and he went to DC, and he's staying there.
They fucked him, but they gave him the movie back, so he's fine. Well, like they kind of did. I think they unfortunately did what they had to do. I think there's a reason
why he imagine why couldn't he have got this role at Marvel or some similar role?
Because I don't think they need. They have Kevin Feige. I know,
correct, but
I mean, dude, if you think about it, he really did.
I don't know.
Gunn was the arbiter of their I have this written down. He was the arbiter of their cosmic corner.
Right.
He completely built that side of and I think that's what. Feige gave him a lot of reign on that, and I think that's what showed them. I think
Guardians is his best movie. I don't really. It's
amazing.
Volume 2 isn't really the best, but I think
I love Volume 2. But yeah,
Guardians Volume 1 is in a lot of people's MCU top 10.
Absolutely, maybe top 5 even. I would honestly even say.
Okay, yeah,
but I do think it's one of the best.
It's undisputedly a good film.
Absolutely. So yeah, on top of this, Joker Folie à Deux, as well as The Batman and its related projects, will supposedly remain...
The Batman? Robert Pattinson?
Correct.
Okay.
Will remain separate from the newly crowned DCU, by the way.
That's
DC.
fine.
And they will be overseen directly by the new Warner Brothers Pictures heads, Abdy and DeLuca. So...
And one comment of that, we have so many different timelines of comics. I think it's fine for there to be 2 Batmans at the time. We already have fucking 3 technically. Ben Affleck, Robert Pattinson, and
Michael Keaton's gonna be
Michael Keaton. We get it. People aren't fucking stupid. I like how they're embracing that.
Well, it seems like people were getting confused by what's his name being in Aquaman, and that's why they brought back Ben Affleck. So I do think what you do.
Michael Keaton shouldn't be in Aquaman.
Well, he
should be Ben Affleck.
Well, truthfully, he probably shouldn't even be in the... it makes more sense in The Flash because obviously you can do maybe different timelines and things like that or universes, but that should obviously just be Ben Affleck. And I'm hoping that he's coming back... The idea that he's coming back for Aquaman means he's open to maybe doing more things, maybe now that he's in a better headspace from where he was. So that would be very nice to see.
Why not do that Deathstroke movie?
Because that is also another big question of, well, okay, then who is the Batman of this universe, of this new DCU? And we're going to have to answer that at some point. Another question we were talking about, DCU. What is that? Detective Comics Universe, Detective Comics Cinematic Universe. What does the DCU stand for, Huge?
DC Universe.
The DC Universe?
Detective Comics Universe.
It's Detective Comics, the DC Detective Comics Universe. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. I just thought that was funny. I'm very curious what that is. So let's talk about Walter Hamada a bit. Because he is a bit of a source of consternation throughout the DC universe.
And the
fairly and unfairly,
and the Snyder
in my opinion.
Cut movement and the Ray Porter...
The Ray
incident accountability.
The Ray Fisher. Ray Fisher.
Thank you. Yeah. Ray Fisher, not Ray Porter. Still in the same.
Yeah, you're close.
Ray Porter is Darkseid. But yeah, Ray Fisher and the accountability is greater than equality. Is it? What's
The Ray Fisher thing, I will say,
because he was the one kind of outing Hamada very publicly at first, it seemed.
Yeah, but he was even I don't know. I listen, I feel if something happened to Ray Fisher and truly on set, I feel terrible for him. He should definitely get, some type of something for that. But I don't know. It just seems like compensation. Like Gal Gadot said something happened with Joss Whedon on set, and she said she figured that out with Warner Brothers. So like, I do feel like if there was really a there, they would have done something about it, especially with how like our political climate is these days and things like that. It just felt like it got to a point with Ray Fisher where it's all he would talk about. And I hope if there is accountability to be had, I hope there is found. But yeah, so let's talk about Walter Hamada a bit. He took over DC Films following the very disappointing rollout of Justice League in 2018. He was given a mandate by the WB heads to completely pivot from Zack Snyder's vision of the DC universe. So that was coming from upstairs. That wasn't his idea. That was directives given to him.
Yeah, I knew that.
He was in a rather public feud, as we said, with cyborg actor Ray Fisher after Fisher accused him of interfering in an investigation into Joss Whedon and his handling of the Justice League reshoots. Jeff Johns was, of course, mentioned in this as well, being as part of that. Apparently, when Batgirl was shelved, he was apparently totally and completely kept out of the loop on that decision and was completely blindsided by it. Even though the project
was blindsided by Batgirl's
cancellation.
Yeah, I heard that.
And it was a project he had a very personal hand in, so apparently like he was ready to quit that week. And they were
I remember when that was happening, and that was like Hamada, there were headlines about like Hamada's like ready to fucking leave.
Yeah, so they were like, all right, let's relax. They obviously figured out the Gunn and Safran thing, so they came in and he stayed until I think like the last week of October, and then obviously they started. So he was also the one that was repeatedly saying no to the idea of Cavill's return because he was still under the impression of the DC heads.
Snyder.
Let's move on for that. It is interesting though to me because like they kept like obviously Wonder Woman, they kept Aquaman, they kept the Flash. So I don't know why like Superman was such a thing. They had so many different things in development.
I think because Superman embodied Zack Snyder's origins in DC. Like specifically with Man of Steel, because like that was his movie, and then he did, and then he moves on to BVS. Superman's still at the core of that, and then he moves on to Justice League. Superman, I guess, still at the core of that. At the core of Snyder is Superman.
Well, it was his first one, yeah. It's still interesting to me though that
I think that's why, and I think I think a lot of people are loyal to Zack Snyder behind the scenes and in his castings. Like, I think that's clear. I think the entire Justice League cast is loyal to Zack Snyder. And I think you saw that when released the Snyder Cut. One, at the beginning, Jason Momoa was like kind of cheesy and cagey about it. Yeah. And then two, once it actually got out there, everyone
was like, we're glad to see this.
Besides Ezra Miller, like was posting about it and was like, release the Snyder Cut. Like it's time.
Oh, they got everyone. No,
and I think that loyalty and that fandom and like clearly the release the Snyder Cut movement scared WB.
Well, it's not even they just everything they posted, everything WB posted underneath it. There was an army working.
No, there was.
A small contingent of people working
a small operation.
They were, and honestly, I think they were hoping that releasing it would shut those people up, and I think it only made it worse for them. And I think they regretted honestly releasing the Snyder Cut because I think they felt like they gave those fans something, and then they weren't very grateful to a degree. And then they wanted more. Like, no, I think people were.
You give him a mouse of cookies and a glass of milk.
He wants more. Like, and I do think at this point, they should have just made their decision and moved on from it to a degree if they were going to do that, but they weren't. They weren't moving on from it, from Aquaman, from Flash. So keep this character, keep this casting that you really like, and just rework. But
see, like, let's pretend the Snyder Cut didn't come out and this timeline's still intact where Gunn and Safran are now heads.
Sure.
Guess what we would be asking for? The Snyder Cut to kick it off.
Sure.
So now that the Snyder Cut's already out, I feel like Gunn and Safran have the first decree, the first move they need to make is essentially solidifying their timeline as to what movies are canon and where everything lies.
Well, Justice League is canon. It's not the Snyder cut. We already know that for a fact. Like they said,
and I want that. I want James Gunn to come out with his
his full time frame
and be like, Snyder cut's canon, you fools.
Well, I think what's going to do a lot of that, and I think the reason that they're not canceling it is the Flash. And I mean, we'll talk about that later, but that's apparently very, very key to the plans.
We've been
moving
saying
forward.
that. Yeah, that's.
And I mean, it's going to be a whole
clear.
reset to a degree, and the fact that Aquaman is like Batman is coming back in Aquaman. I think they reshot some stuff with Ben Affleck. I wouldn't be surprised for the Flash. I'm sure. I think we might actually see more of him in that, but. No, it's very interesting. I don't know. Like Hamada, listen, he released like under his guys, like 12 came out. I think a majority of them were pretty good to find. I think the guy had a bit of a tough situation to walk into, whereas like maybe he liked Zack Snyder stuff. Maybe he liked that, but he was told we are gone from that. We're done from that. We're moving on.
But do you really like do you agree that the reason we're in this mess is because the WB executives turned on Zack Snyder?
Well, it's because not even yes, I guess specific. Not like they turned on that vision. They had a plan. They had a plan, and they didn't stick to the plan. And then you can obviously see the seams of where they stitched this new one together, and it's not as good. It's not as even. It's just not a solid vision. Whereas whether you hate Zack Snyder or not, he had a storyline in his mind. And that's what you need. You need this idea. If you're going to build like this interconnected universe, they don't need to be like feeding into each other in every single degree, but you need to know where you're going. And even that was my kind of issue with Black Adam. I don't think that was as solid as a beginning as this new DCU needed. And I'm hoping we could just get some just great solid solo movies to start for these next couple years. And they just build up to what we need to build up and do what we need to do. And I think having these two at the heads could do that. And I feel bad for Zack Snyder. I know, I agree. He got the shaft very hard. And it was the WB execs' lack of gumption. They didn't want to commit to what they had. And they didn't get $1 billion out of BVS like they were supposed to. And they got cold feet. And at that point, it was too late to pull their feet out of the water. They were already getting knee deep. They were already wet. At this point, maybe adjust what you want to adjust, but just keep going. Because the idea of what was going to happen with Justice League, it sounds fucking cool. And it sounds like it would have been very different from what Marvel did and a very different idea of where we would see that going. But I do think that kind of Superman is evil trope is getting a little old to this degree.
Yeah, we've had this conversation.
But besides that, I think it would have been very interesting. But like we said, we talked about James Gunn. He was the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy films, obviously for Marvel. He laid the cosmic corner of the Marvel films, and then he also directed Suicide Squad for DC films.
And of course, Peacemaker.
Yes, of course, yeah. I don't think he directed every one of those, but
so
I
is
think
he doing Peacemaker too?
Yeah, they're writing that right now.
Okay.
He did post something like with Mr. He's been very cryptically posting things these past month.
And it's Mastodon?
Mastodon. I don't know what that was.
It's some sort of new social media app.
Oh, right. On Mastodon.
But he posted Mr. Terrific on Mastodon.
Yeah, well, no, I thought he posted Lobo on Mastodon. Maybe he did. Maybe it was Mr. Terrific. I can't remember, but that was...
He did post these two images regardless of where they are.
So, I don't know. I think at this point, I have a good outlook with these two at the helm. I really never thought in a million years James Gunn would do this. I even said I think back when they were announcing that they were going to have to look for someone new, I was like, man, it'd be great if they could get James Gunn. But I just didn't think he'd commit. And I'm excited to see him bring some of his James Gunniness to the universe, but I think he knows where to draw the line on that. I think it's just more of his understanding of these characters that he seems to know and love and be very interested in. So I'm hopeful. I'm not sold, but I'm hopeful.
Do you have Man of Steel 2 stuff in there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I
don't
want to get ahead of
you.
you.
We'll get into that. So now we will get into the projects that we know about in the upcoming DC universe. So Titan season 4 obviously launched on this November, I believe it was.
2 weeks ago.
What's going on in that?
5 episodes are out? What do you mean?
Like, what's the storyline this
So the
time?
storyline for this, I haven't started it yet. It's on my list. There's a lot of fucking shows. I'm like trying to get through Andor for the finish.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it is the Brother Blood Hive story that we kind of know and kind of love from the Teen Titans. We've seen it in the original Teen Titans animated series.
Yeah.
It's a pretty we've seen Brother Blood and Hive and Arrow.
Yeah.
So they're doing like Jinx, Obviously Brother Blood, another female lead of Hive. So that seems where they're going to be going.
All right.
Hawk is out. Wonder Girl is alive, I'm pretty sure, because she comes back. Tim Drake, Robin is in. Red Hood is out.
He's not in it anymore at all?
I don't think so.
Oh, well.
At least he's not a mainstay right now.
Interesting.
Lex Luthor is in this season. I like Titans personally. I think Titans scratches like just the adult Bat Family itch.
No, absolutely.
Without having Batman, and it's kind of like it's funny. Like
I do like
feel
Brendan
there's gonna be
Thwaites as Dick Grayson.
there's going to be a Gotham Knights Teen Titans comparison because they are kind of like in the same sphere
story wise. Absolutely,
things.
yeah.
But I think Titans is pretty good. I think they're doing a lot, but they kind of are doing it well. There's not once where
really
I'm like,
the first season.
They're doing too much. I'm like, nah. I'm like, they're sticking in the Titan stuff. They're not like really going. They're not like, oh, guess who's a Titan?
I
like
appreciate that they feel like they're
character.
finally committing to like them actually being the like Beast Boy has his costume, Nightwing is Nightwing, everyone's in their costumes.
Right, we
and
needed
shit.
to get there.
Does
Starfire,
Raven have
Starfire.
her costume yet? Like her full on costume?
No, but she's
I would
full
love to
into
see
her powers.
That's right, and she has the gem and stuff, right?
yeah. You see that at the end of season 1.
Yeah, Trigon looked pretty funny in that. It looked good, but it was just funny to see an actual Trigon in real life.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's out right now. You can enjoy that at your leisure. That's again a separate universe, I believe. I wouldn't be surprised.
Technically Earth 19 in the CW verse. They named it.
I think they will bring that all into one universe after this. I do with the Flash.
We are definitely need once the Flash finishes. Now that Stargirl has been canceled, and we are literally 2 episodes away from the end of that, which is weird to say. We're like done. The Arrowverse is fucking.
Well, technically, Superman and Lois is still around, but that's on the chopping block, obviously.
I think it's on the chopping block, and besides Diggle being in the show, it's like so loosely Arrow.
They need to. I feel like that would work very well on It's an HBO Max show now too, right? It goes on HBO Max.
I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. That's a great show.
Once Flash ends, we're gonna have to have another conversation. Get Bill in here because he watches all those shows and be like, like, kind of. I guess we haven't talked about the Arrowverse since Crisis on Infinite Earths, and that was kind of the last big
crossover they did.
That was it. That was the last crossover. It was the last moment that universe really flourished. And it's interesting to watch it all kind of get chopped.
Yeah,
because it's clearly not a part of what's
going on. Yeah, that seems to be
the which is fine. And I think how long is Stargirl gonna fucking go?
That show's way better than it has any right to be, though.
It is. Like
it would be
really
cool to see her
JSA
come
heavy.
back at some point in some respect. And I feel like they absolutely
brought
would.
back Batwoman back in the Flash.
Yeah.
She is in this season of the Flash, and Red Death is
she
also
is
in it.
really.
Yeah,
Batwoman?
Javicia Leslie is back.
That's funny.
So it's
is it what's her name as? Is it the new Batgirl?
Yes,
or Batwoman.
Javicia Leslie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
She is coming back as Batgirl, and I don't know what they're doing with Red Death in this season, but they're doing.
That's the woman who played her in the last season, who they recasted her for.
Correct, not Ruby Rose.
But it's not. But it's the same character. It's
correct.
Okay, but who was the girl who they had as Batwoman in the black woman? Who
Javicia Leslie.
Oh, it is her. Okay, I'm sorry because I know they recast.
Right, she's
what's
the
her
recast.
name as No, but they recasted Ruby Rose as what's her name too, right? Like that character. Kate Kane has been recast as well, right? Didn't she come back as that didn't end up happening? I thought we saw that.
It's a yes and a no.
Okay.
It's not really Kate Kane.
Oh, interesting. I see.
But it is.
I see. Okay. So, Titans, as I said. And then after that, we got Doom Patrol Season 4, which is premiering this December. And it's being split into 2 halves. So, Part 1 is coming out in December.
And I think Titans is the same way.
Part 2. Oh, is it? I didn't see that. That makes sense. The Part 2 will be aiming for sometime in 2023. After that, so that's December of 2022. After that, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which is coming out in March 2023.
I feel like it's just
Why does it scare you?
I feel like it's going to be bland.
And you know why?
I don't care about Helen Mirren as
I agree.
Fury.
The villains seem very bland to me.
Lame.
I do feel like they're committing to like the very magic heavy stuff, which I like. I mean, we're seeing like centaurs and dragons.
What's the caterpillar's name?
I can't. Mr. something. Mr. Mind.
Yeah.
I think it's Mr. Mind.
What happened to him? Where did he go?
There's this. We got a Black Adam and Shazam problem.
We do, and a Superman.
And well, not even Superman. I hope we're getting alleviated. We'll talk about him in a minute, but they're really missing a trick by not having Shazam play Black Adam, especially as a child.
I really think we'll see Black Adam in Shazam.
I agree.
I really think we're going to.
I hope so, man. But I do think they missed the trick already of having like Billy's getting old already. That kid who's playing Billy, he's already getting to like 17. Having him be a 12-year-old with these Greek mythical superpowers fight a guy who's 5,000 years old who doesn't care and is just ready to fucking
they're literally running out of time.
They're running out of that time, and I think that's just such a cool story beat to really explore and go through and maybe have Black Adam change that way. I get that The Rock wanted Black Adam to have his own kind of moment to shine, but I do think they were better off of having him show up in Shazam first and then break out into his own solo film. I don't know. Missed a trick there, in my opinion. But yeah, so Zachary Levi is back as the titular hero and will face down against the Greek gods Hespera and Calypso, played by Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu, respectively. So that's March.
Big shrug.
Yeah.
Big shrug from me.
I'm excited for that to a degree. I like Zachary Levi a lot.
I'm not worried about the good guys.
Sure, it's more of the villains. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they're interesting. The Wizard's back in that. Didn't he die in the first one? Pretty sure he turns to dust. I'm fairly confident after he gives him the powers. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just wondering what's going on. God damn it.
I haven't watched that movie in a while.
And then in June 2023, the controversial Flash film will be releasing.
Just Flash, not the Flash?
No, it's the Flash. Yeah, okay. It's the Flash. So despite his many legal, despite their many legal controversies, Ezra Miller will be returning as the Scarlet Speedster. This film will be a crucial chapter in the DCU's future.
So here's my take on this. They don't touch this movie. I don't care what Ezra Miller's done. That's on him.
I mean, they already are doing it. I mean, they've already committed to that. They're not.
Right. They don't need to recast. They don't need.
Oh, no. After this, they absolutely do. They can't bring him back after this movie. No. No, Gooch. No.
Let me talk. Let me finish. They don't need to recast him in this movie.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, it's already done. He's in it like 3 times. So it would cost so much money.
They would have to redo the whole movie.
Yeah. Well, no. They'd have to redo every CGI moment in that, basically, where it's because he, like I said, he plays at least 2 people. You see him in the trailer. So
whatever they're doing, it's Flashpoint. We know that.
Yeah.
They can smartly write him into another person. And honestly, I hope it's Grant Gustin. He's already been the Flash. He has it. He knows what to do. He knows how to be him. Easy.
I think
that's more fans would be accepting of that. The Flash is canceled. He's done. Because think about this.
I don't think the Flash CW is as popular as you're giving it credit.
I think Grant Gustin is more associated with the Flash than Ezra Miller will ever be.
Oh no, I agree with that. I mean, yeah, he's been him for 7 years.
And I think that means something.
Sure.
And I think they'd be fools to not include Grant Gustin in the movie as that, do that reverse cameo again.
Sure.
But then also just making the Flash. Why wouldn't he want to do it? And he's not going to, do you really think Grant Gustin's going to be signing up for like 4 more movies after this? No. That doesn't seem to be like DC's MO. They're not going to like sign him up, contract him in for 10 years. Like if he makes
they'll get him for a couple.
If he makes any cameos, they're going to be very small. And like I don't really think we're going to see a Flash sequel. Is really what I'm saying.
If this movie does well, I just monetarily disagree. I think there's no way that they don't do a second one. I think they just recast, and I don't bring back Grant Gustin. He's great and all. I love him as the Flash in the show, but I want some new blood. Give me Walter. Give me Wally West. Maybe even I don't care. Swap it into him. I guess if that's what we're gonna have to do.
Do that, but
I don't know. I think you just have it reset and he comes out as a different person. Literally,
it's easy.
Like, I don't know, like genuinely, I don't know at this point.
Honestly, I like my idea still, but I like the idea of doing white Wally West, ginger Wally West.
Yeah,
who the Flash is in Justice League, the animated series. Listen, it's Wally West. It's not Grant. It's not.
Listen,
Barry
I'm
Allen.
all for representation. I think we need more of it wherever we can. But I will say, I feel like the gingers get shafted all the time. They have nothing. The gingers.
That Wally West is really iconic in the comics.
No, he was the Flash for years.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think that we can have multiple plans here. Drew.
Absolutely, yeah.
We have Plan A is that the Grant Gustin.
Okay.
Plan B is Ginger Wally West.
Plan C is he poops out as a different person after the time stream gets fixed, and it's just new cast. I don't care. Honestly,
Yeah, that isn't. Well, no, that's Plan A.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. But no, it wouldn't be. Yes, exactly. Correct. So, okay.
So do you have any Plan C's?
Plan C is just because I don't want the Flash has been cursed. Genuinely,
really
this
has.
movie has been cursed. It's gone through 4 or 5 directors. They finally landed on Andy Muschietti. Apparently, Ezra Miller was causing trouble during the production of this. I don't know why they didn't recast.
I wonder
then.
if Sasha Kell's gonna come out and shit on him
I really hope
as the the female.
Yeah.
It just seems like an inevitability.
No, it makes sense. I just want them to do the Flash right. He's such a cool character. He's such an interesting character. Yeah, I know he just runs fast, but you can do a lot more with that than you might
There's
think.
so much there.
And it just sucks that we have to put it out with this lead in the role that is whether or not we like it is going to take away for some people. And he's done some weird things. And he's like I'm sorry, I keep doing that.
I called him him.
They have done.
We know.
We know. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Ezra Miller's a shitty person.
they are crappy. They seem like they've done some very bad things. I hope they get help if they need it. It's going to be tough to remove that for some people. I just hope the movie's fun. I hate that fucking cowl, though, on him so much. It looks so bad. It looks like they took mashed potatoes and put it on a mannequin and smoothed it out. God, I hate it. But besides that, yes.
I just think the future...
They're not going to cancel it at this point. That's not going to happen.
The future of DC is riding on the Flash.
It is.
It really is. And I need WB to not meddle as much as possible. Whatever they do, whatever decisions they make need to be smart and need to be calculated.
It seemed like
just
with James Gunn
pooping all over shit.
They were ready to hand the reins over to him to actually do what he wanted and that they trusted him. They got to be willing to trust their directors more. And they seem to be willing to trust directors more until they got the negative press that they feel like they received from BVS.
Yeah.
And then they were like, whoa.
Zack Snyder? Fuck him. Yeah. It was such a day-night switch.
I don't think it was as personal as you guys are. I genuinely think from a monetary thing, they saw that it didn't make the money they wanted to. They saw a lot of backlash
I think
against this dark
what made
tone.
it personal was because they used Zack Snyder stepping away because of the suicide of his daughter as his out. They used that situation to their advantage.
But the thing is, I don't know exactly how, or did Zack Snyder find that as his, listen, I'm so sick of dealing with this. This is another thing I'm stepping away. I don't think that they fired him. And I think they strongly went to him of maybe you should maybe it's good for you to take some time off.
Yeah, of course they did.
But I don't think they literally.
Never come back.
They fired it. Yeah, but I don't know. It was a dumb move, obviously. I mean, we've talked about it 1,000 times. It was a stupid kind of just immediate just reaction to the BVS
They
stuff.
weaponized the fans on them.
Who did? Weaponized what fans?
WB.
Who weaponized what fans on who?
WB weaponized the Man of Steel BVS fans against them.
Against themselves?
Yes.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Not
they
only
were a loud sector.
They are, and we have been.
Yeah.
Not only with Zack Snyder stepping away because of the suicide of Autumn Snyder, but then bringing in Josh Whedon, who, on top of it, seemed to just make everything worse.
Well, it's so funny.
Imagine if they brought in a director and they made a good movie. We'd be in a different timeline.
Well,
here.
but they would. I think. Listen, for all of Joss Whedon's issues, I don't like him for a vast array of reasons. He can make a good movie. He has.
We
he
have
made
seen
the
that.
Avengers. It's a fantastic film, and I think if you bring him in from the start and not make him Frankenstein together a movie from things that he shot and things that Zack Snyder shot, we would have gotten a much better Justice League movie, and maybe it would have went in a better direction. But they literally brought him in halfway through with most of it shot. He had to reshoot. I'm more saying this stuff for them. Right. They brought him in halfway through. They reshot all this stuff. They had him keep some storylines in and change some things. It just made no sense.
And it got personal for people like Ray Fisher, who his entire the heart of the movie, of Zack Snyder's Justice League got ripped out.
He definitely was not nearly as
Cyborg
major
stuff
of a character.
was totally gone. and him being the lowest grade actor on that movie, you kind of get why he's mad. Because he had his moment, and he didn't really have his moment.
Yeah, he felt like he was supposed to be in more. No, absolutely.
And I think that's why and then again, you have the entire cast and crew being Zack Snyder like loyalists.
But I don't even see loyal. I think that's a strong word. I think they are.
I don't.
They're obviously loyal to him. They obviously care for him. You see that in every interview they talk about. But no, I think like they weren't the entire time chanting release. They saw their moment. They saw the right moment to post, and they did it, and it worked. I still don't think we ever would have gotten that without the pandemic. I think there are a lot of things that luckily fell into place that made WB think that was viable. And it was to a degree. It brought in a lot of views. I don't know how much of that is just people rewatching it on HBO Max, which is fine. Because I know a lot of people were doing that, just replaying it to try and get the views up, which is fine. I get it. You want to see what you want to see. But they tried to make a change too late in the game. And they tried to pivot very hard within a movie that it just didn't make sense in.
So do you think there's a chance Flash is just too much?
What do you mean? Like too much going on? Absolutely.
I mean, we got a Michael Keaton Batman. We have
100%.
Adam West. We have Ben Affleck Batman. We have one Barry Allen, two Barry Allen, a super.
I think this will be your litmus test for how much the audience can handle.
Like we don't really know much about Sasha Calle's Supergirl. If she's Kara Zor-El.
Apparently, she's all. I think she's just a gender swapped. I'm gonna bet she's a gender swap version of Cavill.
I think it's a good.
I would actually like that more than her just being
Supergirl.
I think like have her be Superwoman. Just have her be. She's Kal-El. So her name is Kal-El as well.
What is her and Lois Lane's kid in the comic?
Him and I can't remember. She's Superwoman, right?
Yeah, a version of
Superwoman,
Supergirl, Superwoman, whatever. Yeah, because Injustice, she's a thing in Injustice.
Yeah. That seems to be based directly off of that. That costume seems to be based directly off of that.
Is it Lois Lane Kent? Is that her name?
Yeah, I think you might be right. Oh, so that's also it could be. It could be his son, her daughter.
Right,
his daughter. That's a good idea.
Because that's who she looks like.
She's definitely has that exact like cape. I mean, they were gonna do one of her movies, but that got canned too. Again, because they're bringing back Mr. Cavill. But after The Flash in June, we have Blue Beetle in August of 2023, which that was going to be an HBO Max movie, but now that's a full-on theatrical release, which is cool. I like to see it.
Do you think Batgirl's cancellation had something to do with that?
No, I think that they just felt like they could. I think they thought Batgirl was too far gone for whatever reason. They didn't like what they saw, and
because if that movie came out, I think it'd do better than it did before. Is that movie really dead?
No, they can't. They already took the tax write-off on it, so they cannot do anything with it. They can't release it in any monetary way. I don't think.
And another reason because Brendan Fraser was in it.
Yeah, that does suck. He was gonna be
Firefly. That would have been sick.
Yeah.
Do you care about this at all? Like, what's your take?
It makes me sad. I mean, it's a full movie. It's done. They just need to finish it. Like they need to. So would I have loved to see it? Yeah, I would have. I think it would have been awesome. From what they were describing of it, it wasn't great, but that's always inside talk. Who knows actually how good it was? Apparently, like Black Adam got the same rating from the audience test score as it, and they still released that. So, but again, I don't even know how they do that because I don't think Batgirl was done. So I guess they do pre-screen movies that aren't completely finished. But yeah, it's sad. I really liked her outfit. I thought Leslie Jones was an interesting casting. Would I have liked to see a more traditional like ginger Barbara? I think so. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not like super sad about it, really. I'd kind of rather see her be introduced in the correct way in a Batman movie, really. I would like to see a true Bat family happen in these later films. And
I know, what a thought.
I know, that would be crazy. And even in Pattinson's Batman.
Have Dick Grayson. Like, I was kind of fine with Snyder kind of skipping over Dick or kind of doing something different with him.
They didn't. Remember, Dick was the one he said Dick was the one who died.
Right. Skipping over him means just like...
Well, no, I guess
having him dead and not doing him.
See, I do feel like you missed a trick there by not I don't know. I think you always keep Dick alive. You kill Jason, he's the one who dies. That's where he really has his kind of like thought process about it. But no, I don't mind taking a different stroke. But there were some other ideas that were coming out of what Snyder wanted to do later, which again I didn't really love, like Batman falling in love with Lois or something like that, and then he had to go back. I forget the exact story details he put out, but. Again, would I have liked to see it? Sure, but did it sound like everything I would have been in love with? Not personally. So yeah, Blue Beetle, that will be Zolo Mariadenu is taking on the role of Jamie Reyes, and then you got
Jaime.
I'm sorry, Jaime Reyes.
Yeah.
And then you have what's her name's playing like a gender swapped Ted Cord, which I'm like, no, it's not gender swap. Like fuck, what's her name? She's red hair. She's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I remember this.
Blue Beetle. Let's see. I'm gonna keep speaking while I'm typing this up. Susan Sarandon.
Yep.
I hope they do actually like a real Blue Beetle. I don't know. It would be cool to see actual Ted Cord in it and stuff like that. Yeah, she's
make him gay, dude. Let's go.
She's Victoria Cord.
Fuck.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is she gay? She better be.
She better be.
She better be in a relationship with gender swap Booster Gold.
There you go. No, I like it. I agree. He's just like a spy, right?
Booster
Beetle,
Gold?
the original Blue Beetle. The original Blue Beetle. He doesn't have like any powers.
He is just like a spy.
Yeah.
He's like a techie spy.
Yeah. So then we also have Joker Folie à Deux in October of 2024.
Lady Gaga's
Lady Gaga.
Quinn.
Yeah. So Phoenix will return as a clown prince, and he will be joined by Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn, which will be a musical.
What do you think about one, Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn, and two, the musical aspect of it?
I just think they're trying to be like, I don't know. I think they're just trying to find a way to just go at this that's very outside the box. And they
really think Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn is like outside the box?
I guess doing it this way as a musical and bring her in, yeah, I do. I would not have seen that coming in a million years. They truly surprised me with this.
Do you think it would have been a musical if they didn't have Lady Gaga?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that was like the major. I think that's one of the. I think they decided it was going to be. I think this all came together. They were like, well, maybe if we get Lady Gaga, we can turn this into. And I think it's going to be a musical in the way of like, what's that other one with Gaga and Bradley Cooper?
Stars Born?
Yeah, like something more like that, where it's obviously it's not like you're gonna break into song here and there, but I think it's mostly
they're
gonna be
singing.
Yeah, they're singing. Here and
right.
there.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I would like to see that better. And I think Lady Gaga has the opportunity to really be a cool Harley Quinn.
It could be different. Yeah.
She Lady Gaga, the persona, the character is very much kind of like that, like in the flamboyancy of that character. Like it makes sense.
No, I think she could absolutely do a great job. I'm not concerned.
I'm just skeptical from like a Joker side of it. Like, how is it really going to work with him? You know, like with Harley Quinn, I think it's fine, but I'm just like kind of sitting here. And I'm like,
truly don't know what to expect from that.
Yeah, this is wild. This is an
an outlier.
The musical idea is strange.
Yeah,
like when is Marvel going to do their first musical thing, actual like show, and I'm gonna hate it. Like, you just can't wait.
When can I hate that? Yeah, I don't know.
I already hate Rogers the musical. It already fucking irks the shit out of me.
It doesn't even exist in real life. Yeah.
It's not even a real thing.
No, I don't know. I think that they were just trying to approach this from as different of an angle as they can, like they did with the first one. I mean,
that's something to be appreciated.
No, I hope it's good. And I hope it's interesting, and I'm excited to see what they do. But so the rest of these are all to be decided. There's no date for any of these after this. So we got.
Do you want to run through them all and then talk about them?
We'll talk about it as we go. Okay. So we got the Penguin series, which is to be decided.
Don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it until I see your trailer.
That's supposed to start filming, I think, next year.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
That's set directly after the events of the Batman. So we'll see how that goes. After that, we have the Batman 2, which is in the very early stages right now. That's not expected till at least 2025. We don't know much about anything about that. I still hope they do an actual Dick Grayson Robin, like a fucking 12-year-old, like genuinely. I think that's the most interesting way you tackle that next movie, if they want to stay grounded or whatever. But I would also love to see like a Mr. Freeze or I don't know,
someone who just hasn't been done
in a while.
Not the Joker.
No, we don't do. No, and I think they're the smart enough to know that.
Line.
Yeah, I think he's just more.
I hope we don't. Sorry, I hope we don't.
No,
see
I agree,
and
I think most people are in that same boat as you for sure.
Like, I don't even want to see Mr. Freeze. Like, I think a Clayface would be excellent.
Actually,
we have not seen a live action Clayface ever. We have the tech to do that now. Like, what's his last name? Laszlo. No.
It starts with a K, doesn't it? I can't remember. The actor is it the there's a couple.
His name.
There's a couple Clayfaces. I know one's an actor.
The actor one is the best one.
Yeah, so we'll see. I would love to see them again. I get they're trying to stay somewhat grounded, but you can stay grounded, quote unquote, and do a Clayface in just some interesting way. I don't know. I want to see more of that. And then we have the Green Lantern series, which we had a bit of a shake-up. So it was originally supposed to follow Guy Gardner and Alan Scott. The showrunner, Seth Graham-Smith, had delivered 8 completed scripts for the first show, for the first season. But it's now going to be completely retold to focus on Jon Stewart rather than Alan Scott, Guy Gardner. Jon Stewart was originally off the table because I think they were going to do the Green Lantern Corps movie, which was supposed to be like.
And we did a whole podcast about this last year.
Yeah.
What about the Black Canary movie? From what I understand, all those details are just there.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
If it's going to go forward is a different story, but like the details that we know sound like are still there, but we don't know where that's
I don't think that's churning. I've seen nothing at all about that since.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Monica Green, I think
that wasn't even really like a real announcement either. That was just them kind of like like the one woman be like, I would love to like
the writer being on board to do it and being apparently set to do it, but
so who knows? We'll see. I mean, you know me, I'm a Green Lantern guy through and through. I want to see that character done justice, and Jon Stewart's definitely the character most known out of that, pantheon of Green Lanterns. Everyone grew up with him in the animated series and all that stuff, so I think that's the safe bet. I mean, I think Hal Jordan needs his due, but I don't know. Make him fight evil Hal Jordan. You can do that story. Make him be not Parthenax. That's the dragon. Parallax is the entity. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. And then after that, we of course have Man of Steel 2.
Do you want Snyder back or not, Trio? Just fucking tell me.
Oh no, I don't think. I think we can move. Listen, for better or for worse.
I think Snyder needs to come back for one more round. No infighting, no bullshit. Just let him make Man of Steel 2, and then let him hand the reins off. I think he deserves that.
Now, do I think he deserves the option? Sure. Do I think he'll want to? No. I think he's kind of done.
So Preston and Steve had him on 93.3 MMR, which is a local radio station for those local people listening, and for those who don't, it's a local rock station.
Yeah.
And Steve asked him if he want to come back, and it's very clear that he's like in the middle of Rebel Moon. He's not thinking about anything else right now. Nobody's contacted him.
Yeah.
Nothing has been said to him. But he seems like he's like, yeah, I'm just doing Rebel Moon, and it's the typical like nobody's asked me to do anything, and even if they did, I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah. So like, what do you want me to do here?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna be like, yeah, Rebel Moon. Which I'm looking forward to. I'm actually excited to see some like original.
No, it could be interesting. I agree. I mean, that was originally a Star Wars script, which is interesting.
And Rebel Moon's a comic, or no?
No, I thought it was complete. I don't know. Maybe it is. I know the script was his Star Wars script, and he just retooled it for this.
I'm excited to see some like we don't get a lot of like original sci-fi.
No, absolutely.
So
and they seem to be putting the money into it, so it should be really cool.
Yeah, I do think Zach should come back for just or
I would like to see. I would like to see him have the option.
If he turns it down, I'll respectfully be sad.
I would love to see a Christopher McQuarrie one. I mean, he talked about
Christopher McQuarrie.
He wrote all of the Mission Impossible movies. He's I think the director on those two.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who else. James Gunn. I would like to see his take on Superman, and I think he knows where to pull back his gunniness, and I think he could do a great Superman.
I'm trying to think of like a rogue director who would like
who do you want as the villain? Because I think we should just bite the fucking bullet here and go
do Brainiac.
Yeah, like I don't know what we're waiting on here.
I think that seems like a logical progression. I don't think it should be. I mean, we already did Lex Luthor, really. Batman v Superman. Lex Luthor is the villain. He's already there. I don't know. I think Brainiac is an easy,
of course,
big one. Go to would be cool.
And Bizarro, even I don't know.
I don't know how I'd feel about Bizarro
because we already did do the because we had Zod, who was basically he's like Bizarro, but like just as a real person.
I mean, I hear what you mean,
like fight wise, I guess. Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think. Like I really love Parasite in the Superman animated series.
He's good.
But like I don't know if like that's the villain you want to get for Superman, right? He's such a big character, and we don't have time to kind of like fuck around with little characters.
No, yeah.
Like even Intergang is off the table with Bruno Mannheim. Like even that would be kind of interesting. Like watch him go up against Intergang.
Yeah.
With Darkseid being in the background of that.
Yeah.
Or like maybe Mongol or something like that. Warworld.
I was actually thinking World War II.
Take it totally off Earth.
I think that's how you could be very different if you just go completely like outer space stuff.
But I feel like that's too much
I agree.
right
For the first,
now.
I agree.
For Man of Steel 2.
No, I agree. You might need to set that up a little more, but I just want to read this quote from Henry Cavill because I feel like it just kind of sums up where we're going. But he said, "There is such a bright future ahead for the character. I'm so excited to tell the story with an enormously joyful Superman." And
He did say that. Yeah, that was from that one podcast.
I think so.
we were
Yeah,
on,
it was.
right?
I just was like looking up his quote, and I was like, "That's great." He seems so excited, and it's great to have him back. It's like you're welcoming someone home.
So do you think that's him saying he wants to move away from
the more darker
tone?
I don't think he I think he liked exploring those at first and exploring that like more
But he
the
wants
more
to be
nuance. But he
Superman.
wants to be the happy-go-lucky Superman.
I think we can have both.
I think but I mean we've had the dark contemplative one.
No, I mean like Henry Cavill Superman still kind of remaining root to Man of Steel 1, but still like growing.
Sure. I mean, but that's I think the idea of he's realizing what he needs to do, and he realizes he needs to be that source of hope. And you kind of see that throughout Justice League even too. But yeah, I don't know. I know people were like, is he going to wear his black suit? It's like, no, he doesn't wear his black suit. Even after the comic he wears it in, he doesn't wear that forever. Like that's just how he absorbs more sun after he dies. It's like some type of radiation suit.
It was just a cool look for Reign of the Superman.
That's one of the things I didn't love about that is just like he's just in his black suit. Why? Well,
No,
cool.
I get why he's in the black suit
But
right
why,
after,
though?
but
But
he doesn't
why?
need to be in it anymore.
But again,
because it helps him heal.
But that I guess there's
just died.
You would never know that unless you were a comic book fan. There's
that's fine.
nothing to put. I guess I don't know. It just
It
feels
was
like,
just a different look.
yeah. It was a black suit. I don't know. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And then we did have a little bit of a tease from Mr. Jason Momoa about his favorite comic book character ever, Mr. Lobo. I don't know what's gonna happen.
So what do you think is up with that?
I don't know. I just like I have a
Do you think it's going to be Aquaman v Lobo?
see that.
There's no way he's going to be Lobo.
I was saying that too, but
What
the
if
way
he
he's
was?
talking about that, I don't know, man.
But he's been like vocal about Lobo in the past.
well. So that's who I remember when he was talking. That's who Snyder brought him in under the guise of auditioning for. He thought he was going in for or he was told he was going in for Lobo, but really he was auditioning for Aquaman in the first. So, and that is he has all those.
So does Lost Kingdom not have a date anymore?
It's next year. No, it does.
just-
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I totally forgot to put Aquaman on here.
It
next.
is far away. Have we
I
gotten
think
a
it's
trailer?
next. Yeah.
Dude, I don't
Oh,
even.
actually, no. I don't think we have. I don't. We just.
No, I think we have. I don't even. Google it real quick. Have we?
I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, so that's produced by Peter
James Wan.
Safran as well, which is cool. So yeah, it's December of next year.
Have we gotten a trailer?
Let's see. I'm gonna go on YouTube.
I know we've seen clips.
I think we've seen some stuff of
in
it.
in like those super cuts that they do. I feel like we did.
I'm looking. I think it was in one of those super cuts.
Did we get a teaser though?
We got a behind the scenes clip at
That-
DC Fandom.
Yeah. I'm like, we got something.
Yeah.
I'm like, but yeah, like, what do we know about that?
Not much. I know. We really not much. I know.
Ocean Master's back, right?
No, yeah, he's back in it. I think they're going to be on a bit of a journey together. We have Black Manta is back as well.
And who knows?
He
what's
looks so. Did you see his outfit? Oh, it's so good. That big silly fucking helmet. It's so good. It
Wait,
looks
what do you
great.
mean?
He has a new
they showed it?
costume. Yeah, I think a while back. It looks,
I may have seen it.
It looks so good. I love it.
I love Patrick.
For Ocean Master? Yeah.
What's his name? Patrick.
Patrick Wilson.
Patrick
He was
Wilson,
great.
yeah.
He is great in
Yeah,
that
I
movie.
like him a lot.
Aquaman has some flaws for sure, but I love that movie so much.
Yeah, I guess it is almost too far out to talk about. I mean, the only things we really know about it is like the random behind the scenes stuff we got at like Fandom, and then the Amber Heard fiasco. Like what's
There
gonna
was
happen
a rumor they were following like a pretty major storyline from the comic book.
with her.
It would involve her.
Do you
heavily,
care
but-
that she's in the movie? If they
Do I care? It's
if
like
they-
it's like Ezra Miller. I don't know. I don't love that she's in the movie, but is it going to stop me from going to see it?
no. I hope, and I'll stick to my opinion about what I think. They should keep her in the role because I'm
Oh,
tired.
I disagree on that for sure.
Keep her in the movie because I'm tired of DC being able to meddle with shit because it's ruined movies in the past. So leave her in there, and then we don't have to do Mira after this if we don't want to.
I think there's no. I think that character's too important to Aquaman. You can't just write her out. I think they need to recast, and I think honestly, when this time they should. At this, like since it's coming out in 2 years, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they cut her out completely.
Surprised if they were recasting, we haven't heard about it by
No,
now.
that's true too. So that's another thing to point to. They aren't.
And they were done before that trial even occurred.
Yeah, they definitely had to do some reshoots probably and stuff like that after. But
yeah,
so the supposed storyline is. Should I just give a spoiler warning, a possible spoiler, or should I even say anything?
I want to hear it. Put your hand up.
Possible spoiler warning. I'm going to keep my hand up this entire time. Skip like 20, 30 seconds. So there's a storyline in the comic book where I believe it's Black Manta kills Aquaman's son.
Yes.
And cuts off his hand.
Yes.
So one, I would love to see him get his hand cut off.
Yeah.
And two, if they actually killed his child, that would be dark.
Yeah.
That would be some dark shit.
Yeah.
And
Let's do it.
And James Wan did talk about this one being a bit more serious and less tongue-in-cheek than the first one. So...
you forgot to put your hands.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so
Hands
we're
up.
good. No more spoilers. But
Hands.
I like to see that. I think you need a bit of tongue in cheek with Aquaman, and I appreciate that.
And they have.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
and I was gonna say I appreciate that he lent into that campiness.
But like,
almost
take
in the
his
first
arm
one.
off. Let's get dark.
And give me that water. Actually, no, give me a hook. I don't care. I'll take the hook or the water hand. Either
No,
one.
I want the hook.
You want the hook?
Yeah,
All right,
I think Jason Momoa being an Islander
with just that big freaking.
I feel like the
on
hook like kind of would go.
It would
into
look
his
crazy. Yeah,
personality
no, I
better.
like it.
Like a big not like a metal hook, but like a shell hook. Or
Yeah,
some
I know what you
shit.
mean. Like it's like aged. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Something
So
cool.
that's really it. That's all the DCU Rebirth news. There's a bright future, I think, possibly. I'm tentatively excited. I'm hoping for the best.
I think we have two big flagpoles after this whole discussion. One, The Flash. Two, Henry Cavill's Superman.
Yeah.
I think those are the big pillars right now.
And we're just going to see what's going to happen.
Not holding everything up, but sort of the
there's what's going to direct us where we're going next, especially the Flash.
Once we get through the Flash, I feel like things are going to I think things will be more clear.
Yeah.
I think we're still at the beginning of things being clear. James Gunn and Safran haven't really had a chance to show what is going to happen, and I'm sure they're gonna be transparent because I think anything.
Well, James Gunn has even already been asking, like, who do you guys want to see?
Right, and he's addressed the Snyder cut already. He's addressed the Ayer cut.
Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah.
like, do you think we'll get an Ayer cut of
listen,
Suicide Squad? Do you think
I'm
Gunn's
never
gonna make that
ever
happen?
going to say never after the Snyder cut stuff. So maybe
I think he will.
Am I leaning towards that right now? No.
It's crazy that he even talked about it.
Yeah, I think he sees I will give
the value.
James Gunn, and not as I think he sees the value in responding, at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at least being transparent and open with them, like, listen, that sounds interesting. I don't think we're going to do that at this time, but we hear you. We hear what you want. Blah, blah, blah. There we go.
And what if he's like, hey, we're going to do the Ayer cut, and guess what? With that announcement, the Ayer cut and the Snyder cut will now be the canon movies going forward. I think that's something they could do.
But
That's
then
what I
think-
want to hear.
No,
at this point.
Believe me, I know, Gooch. I know. You want that Snyder cut.
Will
that
Smith, comeback career, hello. We're still post-punch, man.
Well, I mean,
Post-slap.
he's still Deadshot. It's funny. He was going to be replaced by what's his name in who plays the other
Bloodsport?
Deadshot, Bloodsport.
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba, but they decided not to go with that just in case they wanted to bring him back.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
I'm totally
No, I
okay
think it
with
makes
that.
sense.
They didn't need to.
I mean, we talked about that in our
recast.
review. I mean, his story's literally the exact same.
That's your
It's the exact-
mom.
That's your mom. One of my favorite DCU movies for sure. But Gooch, I think that about wraps us our conversation for the DCU Rebirth. Everyone, thank you so much for watching with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We very much appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network on any of your favorite social medias. We are also at Delco Nerds. I already said that on most things. We have a Discord channel. We have a Facebook page. All that stuff will be linked down below. You can email us your comments, questions, or concerns. DelcoNerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to get back to you. All this information can be found on our website, DelcoNerdNetwork.com. And a like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way, guys. A review always helps out the channel if you can tell a friend about it. Was there something else we wanted to mention at the end of these? I feel like last time we said something. No, I don't think.
I mean, like, other than
maybe
just-
it was the reviews and stuff. Anyways, for Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.